My privilege to welcome everyone to today's event, the Bamboo Economic Enterprise Program as an effective three-pronged transformative climate strategy, adaptation, mitigation, and prosperity building. Bamboo, as we know, holds immense potential in addressing some of the most pressing global challenges, from environmental restoration to economic development. So thank you for joining us today as we explore this remarkable resource in its role in building a sustainable future. So to begin our program, let me introduce a dedicated member of the Philippines House of Representatives who is the Vice Chair of the Committee on Climate Change, Appropriations, Revisions, and Sustainable Development Goals. Ladies and gentlemen, from the 1st District of Negros Oriental, Philippines, Honorable Jocelyn C. Lim Kai Chong to deliver her opening remarks. Ma'am?
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, and our distinguished speakers, panelists, esteemed colleagues, and guests, a pleasant afternoon. Allow me to welcome all of you to this very important event focusing on the Bamboo Economic Enterprise Program, or the BEEP, as an effective three-pronged transformative climate strategy where we explore bamboo's role in advancing a circular economy, driving climate action, and unveiling new possibilities for sustainable development. Bamboo, often referred to as grass of hope, is a unique and powerful resource for the Philippines and many nations worldwide. As one of the vice chairperson on the Committee on Climate Change of the Philippine Congress, we have seen firsthand the impact of this versatile plant not only in carbon sequestration but also in enhancing resilience against natural disasters, providing livelihood opportunities, and contributing to our national economy. The Philippines ranks as the sixth largest exporter of bamboos in the world, with bamboo stands covering between 39,000 and 53,000 hectares. Our production potential is indeed immense. Bamboo forests in the country sequester an estimated 5 tons of carbon dioxide per hectare per year. A crucial contribution to our national climate goal under the Paris Agreement. And today's event will showcase three critical aspects of bamboo development. First, we will be hearing Dr. Monica Ortiz discuss bamboo's role in climate action and underscoring its ability to store carbon and enhance ecosystem resilience and support adaptation strategies. Followed by Congresswoman Ana Veloso Tuazon, who will then explore bamboo's contributions to a circular economy where it offers a sustainable alternative to plastic and other materials. And finally, we will examine the policies, partnerships, and regulatory support needed to scale the bamboo industry and strengthen its value chain, to be spearheaded by my colleague, Representative Jose Manuel Alba. So this discussion represents not only a commitment to climate action, but also a vision for inclusive economic development. And through initiatives like this, and through the collaboration of the Philippine Bamboo Industry Development Council, we are working to transform bamboo into a pillar of our green economy. So to end, the path to a sustainable, resilient future is one we must talk and walk together. We must join forces to ensure that bamboo becomes a catalyst for both climate action and economic growth. Thank you very much, and I look forward to the fruitful discussion and insight that that will emerge from today's program. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Lim Kai Chong. We now proceed to the next segment of our event, which is where the three speakers will share their insights on the multifaceted potential of bamboo and the Philippines' initiative to harness its benefits. So each speaker will present their perspectives, after which we will open the floor for questions. Our first speaker will discuss the vital role of bamboo in addressing climate change, particularly in its capacity for carbon sequestration and enhancing ecosystem resilience. She is a senior research fellow at the Manila Observatory and Parabucas, and she is currently part of the IPCC AR7 scoping report, and her lines of research are climate change and food security, agriculture, biodiversity, and climate policy and their intersectionality with gender and indigenous identity. Friends, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Monica Ortiz.
Thank you very much, Arnold, and good afternoon to everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to present a little bit about bamboo in this context of climate action and sustainable development. I have a presentation. I hope that it works. So I will wish my luck with all this technology. Let's see. Yes. So as Arnold mentioned, I am a senior research fellow at the Manila Observatory, and I'm going to present a little bit about bamboo as a nature-based climate solution. What are the great opportunities it brings, and what are some of the challenges and things we have to also work on to make it into a strategy that we can depend on in the years to come. Okay, so I thought about preparing an outline about what I'll be talking about today. I'll give a little bit about the bamboo species itself, a little bit about its biology, how it grows, and I want to present bamboo as a nature-based climate solution in three main ways. The first one is that bamboo as a means to sequester and store carbon. The second is that bamboo is a means to diversifying farming household income and the livelihoods of farmers. Bamboo is also a habitat for biodiversity, something that I'll talk about later in my presentation as well. And then I'll mention some of the challenges. We had some of the talks earlier in the same space about bamboo, and I want to mention them because if we are to use bamboo as a nature-based climate solution, we need to think about its risks, how to plan well, so that in the future it can become a dependable source of livelihood, and also not only for communities but for countries who use this as a strategy. And so bamboo, I'll put on my hat as a biologist and as an ecologist. Bamboo is a name that we apply to a wide variety of plants. They are woody perennial grasses, which means that they are strong. They are perennial. That means that they last. They don't die every year. And they together make up the subfamily Bambusoideae of the grass family. So bamboo is not a tree. It is a grass. It is part of the Poaceae. It's a globally important plant for many, many reasons. It's been part of cultures for thousands of years. It's socially, economically, culturally significant in very many ways. And in fact, it's also a key part of the diet of the panda. And the panda, of course, is so emblematic for protecting biodiversity. We think of the Worldwide Fund for Nature, we think of a panda, and there is bamboo. So bamboo has a lot of values across different domains and different sectors. And of course, bamboo is an important contributor of fiber, of wood, of fiber for construction in homes in a lot of tropical zones. And this is something I wanted to highlight as well. We often think of bamboo as a tropical plant, but actually what the science says is that bamboo is distributed all throughout the world, with a range from Japan all the way up to Argentina. I'm currently based in Chile, and there's even a native species of bamboo in Chile called coliwe. And so when we think of bamboo, we often think of China, we think of the Philippines, we think of tropical regions. But bamboo is present throughout the world, which is really, it shows its immense potential in some of the ways that we mentioned. There's a total number of around 1,400 to 1,600 species of bamboo, and about 60 are endemic or native to the Philippines. So a little bit about bamboo biology for those who are unfamiliar. This is a picture of the bamboo rhizome. So if you think of ginger, then you're thinking of bamboo. A rhizome is essentially an underground stem. So whenever you see a bamboo shoot, when you think of bamboo, it's actually an overground extension of the same stem. And so Rhizomes can also store starches and proteins and can grow in clumps or can extend long distances. These are two types of bamboo. But this is what the underground system of the bamboo rhizome looks like. And so bamboos are immensely, have an immense potential because they can grow very fast. Some bamboo species can grow as tall as 35 meters and can have a diameter of 30 centimeters. The moso bamboo species, which is quite well known, is reported to grow 1 meter per day. So it has immense growing speed and hence carbon storage potential. Bamboo also grows fast and can mature in about 4 to 7 years, and its woody composition of lignins, of cellulose, make it ideal for construction. And as it has for thousands of years. There are archaeological records from 7,000 years ago of bamboo furniture in China. So again, it's been part of our cultures for a very long time. And the little diagrams I have at the bottom are just to show the different types of bamboo. You have the clumping bamboo, which grows, as its name indicates, in a clump. And then you have the running bamboo, which starts to spread this way. And I'll come back to this point a little bit later. But when we think about nature-based solutions, and this is a very key tool that we have at the moment for addressing sustainable development, human well-being, biodiversity, we want to have solutions that don't address just one thing. We want to do climate change, we want to provide human well-being, we want to protect biodiversity. And so when we think of bamboo, is it a nature-based solution? The answer is yes. It can address many different sustainable development goals. It can address poverty, it can provide affordable and clean energy, it's part of sustainable cities and communities, responsible production and consumption, climate action, life and land, and through partnerships like these, we can collaborate on using bamboo as a tool, as a means to collaborate on other sustainable development goals. So I'll go back to the three main points that I wanted to assert about bamboo. The first is that yes, bamboo can store carbon. Because it grows fast, it means that it's able to store carbon, making it ideally suited to also sequester carbon. It's comparable to the woody biomass of trees. Our honorable representative already mentioned its immense potential in storing and sequestering carbon. And it can range from a wide range of values between these different values from megagrams per day or megahectares per hectare. And these are a couple of species from the Philippines. These are sympoidal, which means they are clumping. And you can see that they've been quantified in the terms of biomass that they can store. The other aspect I wanted to highlight, which I think our colleagues will also highlight later on in their presentation, is that bamboo can diversify farming households, their livelihoods, their activities within farming households. We know that climate change will affect agriculture in a significant way. And when we are able to diversify livelihoods, when we're able to have a more diverse basket of things that generate income for families, that's important in climate change adaptation. So mitigation, adaptation. About 2.5 billion people worldwide rely on bamboo. And it contributes about 13% of household income. Bamboo can support about 80% of rural communities in developing countries, especially for their housing and furniture. And as climate change and its extremes are anticipated to affect crop production, crop cultivation, the potential of bamboo as a relatively low maintenance plant is really tremendous in this context. And lastly, my third point about bamboo is that bamboo also provides habitat for biodiversity. Bamboo has been considered by the FAO and INBAR as a strategy for restoring degraded lands. We are within the decade of restoration until 2030, so it could be a strategy towards restoring lands because they can grow on marginal lands as well. And they're also habitats for a wide variety of wildlife. This lovely creature here is a bamboo bat, which is native to the Philippine and Southeast Asian regions. And what happens is that sometimes beetles will make holes inside the bamboo, and the bat will crawl inside, and it will live inside the bamboo. So they are actually homes or habitat for a wide variety of species. Now, this is all in the context of bamboo as mitigation, adaptation, and also as a nature-based solution. I also wanted to highlight a couple of of points that we need to keep in mind if we are going to continue using bamboo as a nature-based strategy or nature-based solution. The first of which is that bamboo captures carbon when it's growing. So what's important if we are to use bamboo as a mitigation strategy, that we don't consider clear cutting. That we harvest a portion of bamboo so that it can continue to store and sequester carbon. This question also came up in the talk earlier today, that bamboo is a very fast grower and has the potential for invasion. There are, I hope I have a bit of time to talk about invasion. We think of invasive species as exotic species, things that are not native to an ecosystem. But because bamboo grows so quickly, even within its own native habitat, it can spread, if it's uncontrolled, it can spread throughout native and indigenous ecosystems. So this is a key point. We need to control, we need to plan, do the risk assessment and risk management to consider where are the waterways, where are the riverbeds, where are the ecologically sensitive areas for biological invasions. This is key for working with bamboo in a sustainable way into the future. Another point I'd like to highlight is that monocultures are never a good idea for very many reasons. When we concentrate all this biomass, there's a potential for pests and diseases, for losses and damages. So we need to consider how we can incorporate bamboo into a multifunctional landscape, into a diverse landscape. And again, I mentioned this, that there's about 1,600 species of bamboo. We need to choose species that are apt for where they are growing. Working with indigenous or native species is key so that we don't harm native biodiversity. Another issue that has been brought up with bamboo is that it can accumulate combustible material. So again, here are all the benefits that we could have with bamboo, and what is important for us as a community of bamboo practitioners is that we think about risk management, we think about land management, and we think at the local scale of farm management. How can we manage these risks, reap the greatest benefits from bamboo? And lastly, to close, these are some of the research and development needs where we still need to know or gain more information. I think it would be really helpful to know the carbon sequestration capabilities of local species of bamboo. We often work with averages from global studies. It would be very important and valuable to know how does a Filipino bamboo species, how does it sequester or store carbon. We need to characterize the risk of pests and diseases in a changing climate. We need to recognize bamboo as a green, strong material for construction. I think our representative will talk about this as well. And supporting, along with our strategies towards diversifying livelihoods, supporting farming livelihoods in the context of climate change and nature-based solutions. So I'll end my presentation there. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Monica Ortiz, for that very enlightening presentation on bamboo, especially highlighting bamboo's potential as a nature-based solution and presenting promising research and development opportunities that may inspire our audience today. So later we'll have a short question and answer portion to address all your questions or clarifications in Dr. Monica's presentation. Our next speaker will present how bamboo contributes to the circular economy and provide an overview of the current state of the bamboo industry in the Philippines, highlighting its challenges and opportunities. She is a legislator at the House of Representatives representing the 3rd Legislative District of Leyte. She is the Vice Chair of the House Committees on Climate Change, Sustainable Development Goals, and Revision of Laws, an Assistant Majority Floor Leader, and a member of the Committees on Energy, Transportation, Foreign Affairs, and Trade and Industry. She likewise legislated for the province of Leyte as a member of the Provincial Board from 2019 to 2022. She pursued her interests in art, design, and sociocultural advocacy, co-founding the Leyte Samar Heritage Society Incorporated, serving as a trustee of Vicente M. Veloso Memorial Foundation Incorporated, where she organized literacy programs for children, launching the Balay Calamragan Art Residency Program, and spearheaded relief efforts in the wake of the devastation wrought by Typhoon Haiyan in Leyte and Samar. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Honorable Ana Victoria Veloso Tuazon. Ma'am.
Industry experts, esteemed colleagues in the service, honored guests, good afternoon. Thank you for this invitation to speak about bamboo and the circular economy. In the Philippines, UNDP studies show that the Philippines' material and energy flows have increased, corresponding to a 2 to 4-fold increase in the demand for raw materials and energy, signaling a transition from agrarian towards an industrial and service-based economy. Waste composition is shifting from biodegradable to non-biodegradable materials, signifying inefficient allocation and use of resources and low levels of circularity, thus posing greater risk to the environment and public health. It is therefore necessary to direct focus to responsible consumption and production, SDG 12, considering its impact on other SDGs, and strategically shift from a linear economy of take, make, and waste to a circular economy that creates value and extends product lifespan through improved design and servicing, closing the loop as envisioned by our Republic Act 11898, or the Extender Producer Responsibility Act, designing out waste and pollution and investing in regenerative natural systems. In the Philippine Action Plan for Sustainable Consumption and Production, formulated by our National Economic Development Authority with the assistance of the Asian Development Bank, it was pointed out that the implementation of initiatives relative to the sustainable management and efficient use of natural resources will contribute to the achievement of many SDG targets, as shown in that diagram. It is evident that this is one of the areas where we can move the needle with the least cost by designing upstream to create a shift in consumer behavior that drastically lowers our carbon footprint. Bamboo, being a rapidly renewable grass, helps, number one, redirect focus to regenerative or rapidly renewable products and materials, promoting participatory environmental governance, social inclusion, and eradicating poverty, as Representative Alba will explain in further detail later. It also helps minimize carbon footprint, as pointed out earlier, because it is bio-based and remains valuable as residual waste. In the Philippines, bamboo is such an integral part of our culture and our story. To us, bamboo symbolizes resilience because it can withstand the force of typhoons and earthquakes, which is important because we are located in the Pacific Ring of Fire and are constantly pummeled by typhoons. We use bamboo as a base material for shelter, baskets, crab and fish traps, and other useful objects. It is an abundant resource that we have taken for granted, much like the scaffolding that comes off when the building is done, or the ribs of a basket that get covered up in softer material. We grew up with bamboo all around us. Even our creation myths have bamboo, have our first people, malakas at maganda, coming out of split bamboo. That we do not recognize what a luxury this humble material is in other parts of the world, and what marvelous things we can create with it. Borax treatment was a game changer for bamboo. It lengthened its useful life, and you have only to look at magnificent bamboo structures like those in Green School and Ibuku in Indonesia, and Arquitectura Mixta in Mexico, and Colombia, and VTN in Vietnam for inspiration. Engineered bamboo has taken the potential of bamboo even further, and we also have to look at cutting-edge architecture like those seen in the Madrid International Airport, the Schiphol Airport benches and Gare du Nord floors, and locally in Catbalogan, Samar, there is an airport that also utilizes engineered bamboo. In 2023, we also had the opportunity to view the dexterity of engineered bamboo veneer by Rhizome at the Art Fair Philippines, where it blended into the background. Now bamboo stands out. Circular economy is defined in the Philippine Development Plan based on the Extended Producer Responsibility Act to extend product lifespan through improved design and servicing. Circular economy essentially means keeping resources in use for as long as possible, extracting maximum value for the products, recovering material, and keeping residual waste to a minimum or none at all. Bamboo is the quintessential circular raw material. It's fully compostable and regenerative, and a building material that has helped build our church walls in the Philippines and enable it to withstand earthquakes back when our walls integrated bamboo. They call it Tabique Pampango style. Bamboo can grow anywhere, as pointed out, and even on degraded and mined land. In Leyte, where I am from, it continues to be propagated for riverbank protection, but its exponential demand for construction variety has sparked interest, resulting in the establishment of more nurseries. Bamboo thrives in water and sunlight, and it grows so quickly, with varieties like those in Bukidnon growing up to a diameter of 20 centimeters, that's almost 8 inches, and up to 20 meters tall. It has been said that the way to go global is to be hyper-local, and this is why we continue to invest in bamboo in the Philippines. To incentivize circular economy transition, our strategic investment priority plan lists as qualifying investment priorities qualified manufacturing activities, which include agro-processing, innovation drivers, environment or climate change related projects, and medium to large enterprise inclusive business models in agribusiness and tourism sectors that provide business opportunities to micro and small enterprises as part of their value chains. So to localize our circular economy initiatives, we have turned to bamboo for construction materials, textile, and livelihood tools that are good for our people and the environment. Bamboo is part of our bioeconomy strategy, through which we replace rapidly renewable biological inputs in production systems for food, materials, and energy. It is a biodegradable alternative to plastic, helping minimize waste to establish livable communities, improving environmental quality, and keeping with our National Action Plan on Marine Litter, in light of the UNDP waste audit finding that 74% of our plastic leakage in the Philippines comes from waste that has already been collected. Bamboo also plays a key role in our adaptation strategy, restoring mined out and degraded areas and avoiding further degradation to ecosystems. And because bamboo is a grass that grows faster with frequent harvesting, it allows farmers to flexibly adapt management and harvest practices to emerging climate change conditions. Oh, sorry. As Arif Rabiq has shown us in Indonesia's 1,000 Bamboo Villages project, growing bamboo empowers village communities to support themselves financially and restore their land with bamboo forests integrated into their agroforestry system. Bamboo has shallow roots that work well with the medium to long roots, deep roots rather, that the agroforestry system needs to restore soil health and keep carbon emissions in the soil, keep carbon locked in the soil. And from the time the culms are planted, that is 6 to 9 months from the time the bamboo culms shoot up from the ground, we can engage our community similarly to coat the clumps in preparation for construction bamboo harvest, which would take around 5 to 7 years. We can also continue to work with our national government agencies for proper bamboo clump management so that the roots thrive and can coexist with the rest of our agroforestry system assets. We can share these sustainable agroforestry practices with other partner villages to scale efficient supply chains, ensuring that greater economic value is plowed back to our communities. So, and we can build on these gains that will protect our bamboo industry. In addition, with the DOS, our Science and Technology PTRI, that's the that's the Textile Research Institute of the Philippines. We can also use our bamboo assets to make yarns and textile out of bamboo, because we have a lot of our varieties that are good for it. Nothing will be wasted because we can pelletize remaining bamboo chips, or in the local sense, turn the waste into bamboo charcoal, over which we grill and sell our barbecues at the um, local stores, local shops. The House of Representatives is presently in the process of crafting the Philippine Circular Economy Act at technical working group level. And this bill, under this draft bill, bamboo can help promote our circular agriculture, which is a method of producing food that safeguards agro ecosystems, preventing loss and waste of biomass and nutrients, reusing and recycling unavoidable residual streams in an efficient way, so that we close nutrient loops and improve soil fertility. It can also be used for food, fuel, medicine, fiber, and biochemicals, paving the way for the adoption of components under our circular economy strategy framework, which under Section 7 of the draft bill includes our commitment to lowering greenhouse gas emissions in our national determined contribution, resource efficiency, strategies for just transition, promoting green lifestyles, paving the way for research and development priorities to foster eco-innovation towards circular production, monitoring mechanisms to track the progress towards full transition to circular economy, and closing investment gaps in green financing. And in addition, promoting systems thinking approach, addressing the root causes of problems and generating long-term impact by focusing on lasting positive change. It is also a way through which government expenditure in circular procurement and circular economy programs, activities, and projects can be tracked and tagged as climate change expenditures. In his privileged speech, our climate change chairman, Edgar Chato, emphasized that we cannot afford a business as usual attitude, with science showing us that we face a direct existential threat. We need to act now and be the change we want to see, so that we can massively fast-track climate efforts in every country, every sector, and on every time frame, as UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has asked us, because demanding that others move first only ensures that humanity comes last. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much, Honorable Tuazon, for that presentation highlighting the Philippines Bamboo Initiative for Economic Development, showcasing its diverse potential from furniture and instruments to a sustainable energy source. So, to proceed with our next speaker, our final speaker will discuss policy interventions in the Philippines and partnership opportunities to help scale the bamboo industry. He is a first-term representative who works passionately to champion legislative measures and policies that align with his core values and vision for the betterment of his constituents. Among the issues that resonate strongly with him are financial literacy and the Bamboo Economic Enterprise Program. He sits as the Vice Chair of the Committee on Sustainable Development Goals and as a member of the Committees on Climate Change, Foreign Affairs, Government Reorganization, Interparliamentary Relations and Diplomacy, Micro, Small, and Medium Enterprises, and Rural Development. Representative Alba is also a member of the National Executive Board, the Vice President for Mindanao of the Boy Scout of the Philippines, and the Philippine Legislators Committee on Population and Development as Vice Chair for Mindanao. Finally, to give us a discussion on policy support and partnership opportunities relevant to bamboo, Please help me welcome Honorable Jose Manuel Alba. Sir? Ito lang, sir.
This one.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. Actually, bamboo is my second great love. Just next no, to my wife. So, ladies and gentlemen, this afternoon, allow me to share with you my experience, our experience with bamboo. Bamboo is not just a plant, no. It's actually a powerful pathway for prosperity building. In a world marked by economic inequality, environmental challenges, and social disruptions, bamboo presents a sustainable and transformative solution. Its potential goes far beyond being a simple agricultural product. It can actually serve as a tool for economic development, social upliftment, and environmental restoration. This afternoon, allow me to share our policy initiatives in the Philippines to support and develop our local bamboo industry. So, the first one is actually the creation of the Philippine Bamboo Industry Development Council to promote the bamboo industry in the Philippines. This was actually an executive order issued in 2010 by then President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo. The council actually is the orchestrating body for all the government initiatives related to bamboo. PBIDC is actually an institution within the Department of Trade and Industry, or an attached agency of the Department of Trade and Industry. With the same executive order to spur local economic development related to bamboo, the same executive order mandated the Department of Education to allocate 25% of their MOOE for desks and chairs, which is actually our requirement for public elementary and secondary schools, prioritizing, of course, the use of bamboo. This was issued in 2010. One experience, this is actually to a certain extent successful, but we could have actually optimized its this particular executive order, because we found out that the procurement was at the national level. So, on our experience, it's very hard for local furniture maker to participate in the procurement process because it's centralized. So after X number of years, we realized that it would be a lot better if the procurement process will be done at the provincial level, wherein ordinary furniture makers can participate. Right now, there's a pending measure at the Senate of the Philippines, which is actually an effort to further strengthen and empower the Philippine Bamboo Industry Development Council. This is the version of the Senate. It's called Kawayan Act. The House of Representatives has a similar version, which is House Bill 7941. So I have said, the intention of this particular measure is to strengthen the Philippine Bamboo Industry Development Council by providing incentives for bamboo farmers, plantation owners, and of course, appropriating the necessary financial resources to ensure that this particular measure, if it becomes a law, will be can be implemented or will be successful. Another measure that we filed in the 19th Congress is actually the Bamboo Products Procurement Act. No? It's similar to the first one, but this one is actually mandating government agencies. The first one was actually limited only to DepEd or to the Department of Education. This one, if this becomes a law, it will require all government institutions, all government offices to allocate 25% of their MOOE, no, for furnitures and fixtures products using engineered bamboo and other bamboo-based commodities. No? No, so what's the rationale behind this particular measure? Ladies and gentlemen, we are all aware that government is the biggest procuring entity anywhere in the world. And if we are interested, and if we are really sincere or serious about supporting this particular industry, governments can actually do this, whether it's the Philippine government or other governments. No? And we see the opportunity of making this a local economic driver to support our poverty reduction initiatives in the countryside. Another bill that is now pending in the House of Representatives is this one, House Bill 9144, also known as bamboo as a sustainable material for the built environment, no? Or an act integrating bamboo as sustainable material for the built environment. Ladies and gentlemen, in the Philippine context, we cannot, as of the moment, we cannot introduce bamboo in its engineered form as a construction material, because right now we don't have a reference standards in our national building code. So, but we can still use bamboo in its traditional or natural form, but once it's engineered, we cannot introduce it. We cannot introduce it as of the moment in our construction and building projects because we don't have the reference code in our national building code. So this particular bill seeks to address that particular gap in our national building code. So, my dear friends, are there initiatives at the local level? We are actually pushing for local policies also, especially in Bukidnon, that will support sustainable livelihood, especially in rural areas. Our local initiatives are actually done in partnership, not only with the government but also with the private sector. Allow me to share with you what we are doing in the province of Bukidnon. So we have this program called BIP, or the Bamboo Economic Enterprise Program. We have several partners. It's a multi-stakeholder program. We partner with farmers, associations, cooperatives, state universities and colleges, furniture makers, indigenous people sector, of course, national government agencies, local governments, and of course, we also have partners from the private sector, which is Rhizome and Homebees Tech Development Center. And of course, we also partner with corporate foundations. So there are actually three major components in the Bamboo Economic Enterprise Program. And these three major components, we seek to provide legislative support. There are three areas, farming, processing, and of course, marketing. So in the diagram, you see that it all starts with the farm and the goods are actually, the bamboo are actually forward to the primary processor. After that, after primary processing, we forward it to the industrial processor or sometimes to backyard furniture maker and sometimes to certain individuals who are doing specialized product development rather. After that, of course, we introduce these products to the market. Right now, we are only limited to the Philippines. And hopefully, in the coming years, we will be able to support our local partners so that we can also promote these products globally. So farming, nursery development, no? In processing, we produce engineered bamboo at the backyard level. So this is something that can actually be promoted because based on our experience, this is not really capital intensive. So this can actually be done by any ordinary farmer or furniture maker. And of course, no, marketing. We assist groups in the marketing of their products. Since we all know that Philippines is an archipelagic country, no, so and logistics is really a major challenge, no, for Filipinos. That's why this is the area. This is actually an area where government can actually provide assistance and support. So locally, we organize and assist groups interested in our Bamboo Economic Enterprise Program, of course, in partnership with local government units. This one, we organized the Baungon Higaunon Kauyagan Agriculture Cooperative because they were actually very interested in setting up a backyard processing center. Another one is Invest, where we also assisted an organization interested in the Bamboo Economic Enterprise Program. We also provide technical assistance to groups interested in bamboo propagation, nursery development. We also provide technical assistance, no, to groups interested to set up backyard primary processing center. This backyard primary processing center is very simple that any ordinary farmer can actually replicate it or do it. No? As I have said, it's not capital intensive. And as you can see, our bamboo in Bukidnon, this is an example where a bamboo has a diameter of almost 9 inches, right? So there's really a big potential. We also assist groups interested in product development. As of the moment, we're able to come up with bamboo cake and even bamboo ice cream. The bamboo ice cream was developed during the pandemic days. And this is, since it's very unique, people are intrigued. So there's really a market, there's really an opportunity to generate revenue. So we also develop acoustic guitars, musical instruments. And the good thing about this particular initiative, all of these things are done at the backyard level. There's no intervention of a big industrial partner. No? These product developments were all done at the backyard level. So we don't only produce skateboards, guitars, we also produce skateboards, longboards. And we also facilitate trainings for interested parties in bamboo furniture making. This is one thing that we are really passionate about, because I believe the only way for us to be able to stop lagging is if we provide our furniture makers an alternative material, and that is bamboo. So we also have industrial partners where we sell our bamboo slats. There's really a big potential, no? In 1 hectare, you can actually plant around 350 to 400 clumps. Now, that 400 clumps can give you around 10 poles on the 5th year per clump. So 400 times 10, that's roughly around 4,000 poles per year. That 4,000 poles per year can actually give you 20 slots per pole. So around 80,000 slots can actually be produced annually. So 80,000 slots. With this partner, they buy our bamboo slots at 13 pesos per piece. So you can imagine the potential revenue that can be generated by an ordinary farmer on an annual basis. 80,000 times 13. We also integrate bamboo in our in government projects, since all institutions, whether it's government or private, no, everybody is actually encouraged to do sustainable to pursue sustainability in their operations. So this one, we were able to encourage the public works sector to integrate bamboo in our barangay hall or the village hall. Upcoming is the development of smart bamboo, where we are going to use it as alternative to steel for cellular tower. I'm very sorry, but I cannot disclose to you the name of the parties involved in this particular initiative. But this is upcoming. So in partnership with a cellular provider and a college of engineering of a major Philippine university. Moving forward, so what are the things that need to be done as far as policy is concerned? First, we believe that government should recognize bamboo as a priority industry. No, that's the first thing that needs to happen. Second, of course, we need to develop policies that will strengthen sustainability and environmental protection. We need to promote bamboo. The farming practices should be sustainable. And we can even include our farmers in the carbon credit programs. And of course, to integrate bamboo into our reforestation and land rehabilitation programs, especially in areas prone to soil erosion and deforestation. Next is, of course, local market development and infrastructure. The way forward is for government to really promote bamboo in our domestic market in order to raise awareness of its benefits and its potentials, and it's the applications that are so unlimited, no, based on my experience. And of course, we need infrastructure for processing and distribution. Government will have to invest in more processing facilities and improve the logistics program and improve the logistics infrastructure to ensure speedy and smooth delivery of bamboo products from rural areas to wherever, urban centers, and even export hubs. Next, of course, we need skills training and capacity development, capacity building, no? Training program for farmers and entrepreneurs, and more technical assistance for processing. Second is policy and regulatory support. We need to set up a bamboo industry certification. We also need to have a standardization. We also need to have our bamboo products standardized. And hopefully, we can have a smart permitting processes. And as I have said, we need to, the government being the biggest procuring entity in the country, the government needs to integrate bamboo in its procurement system. And just like in any other program, this particular sector must be given substantial financial support and incentives to generate more interest and to encourage more entrepreneurs to uh, enter into this particular industry. Next is research and development. Bamboo is so promising right now that we're exploring replacing glass with replacing silica with bamboo fiber, not for glass. It's another um, it's another big thing in the days to come. There's an ongoing research to replace silica with bamboo fiber. And of course, the way forward is innovation. No, and research can only happen. Innovation can only happen if there is funding for research. Next is people's engagement and community participation. This is not only about sustainable livelihood. This is also about our collective fight against climate change. And we believe that with bamboo, we can hit two birds at the same time, right? Sustainable livelihood and addressing the negative impacts of climate change. And last point, since we are in a developing country, since the Philippines is a developing country, no, there's really a big opportunity for partnerships, no, for global trade. And we know that with the international effort to reduce the utilization of wood and of course to protect our remaining forests, there's really a big opportunity for Filipino entrepreneurs to participate in the global trade. And that can only happen if we are able to establish trade agreements and partnerships to facilitate the export of our bamboo products. Ladies and gentlemen, bamboo is a symbol of the future, one where prosperity, sustainability, and social equity go hand in hand. I believe that through collaborative action and innovation, we can harness the full potential of bamboo to create a prosperous and sustainable world for generations to come. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Alba, for being one of our forerunners leading efforts to promote bamboo as a sustainable material and advancing policy interventions and partnership opportunities for the growth of the bamboo industry. Again, a round of applause to our speakers. Thank you for those enlightening presentations. Before we proceed with the question and answer, may I invite again on stage our distinguished speakers, Dr. Ortiz, Honorable Tuazon, and of course, Honorable Alba, please. And we now open the floor for questions. If you have any inquiries, please raise your hand and we will address them accordingly. So, sir? Okay, so we have the first question. Okay. We'll just wait for our microphone and please introduce yourself and to whom you addressed your question. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Lijain. Can you hear me? Yeah. I'm Lijain from Ampere Company, private sector. So thank you for this panel. As a personal level, like I use bamboo products and a few like products in the kitchen. Hope to see more products from bamboo. In the business level, like I'm wondering because we are a VVB, validation and verification bodies that do audit for carbon projects, and as a nature-based solution for bamboo, just curious about how could project developer will maintain their work when it comes to data and measurements. Like it's so tall and like need like high level let's say technology or AI or integration with a satellite to make sure that they will give the auditors good data or accuracy and like to maintain the integrity and transparency when it comes to data. This is and of course for the safety of the auditors and the developers as well, and just to maintain the efficiency of time and efforts that will be produced. Um, and I'm wondering, I don't know, but I will do my homework if there's a methodology that developed from bamboo specifically. And on the other side, you mentioned the risk assessment because it's growing so fast. And I'm sorry, yeah, because the bamboo growing so fast, so you need like to maintain the risk assessment and so on. So one of the high quality of carbon credits is permanent. So how could you maintain the permanence of bamboo? Like, for example, we don't want to be like fire or something like that to destroy them and then go for like not double counting, like there is no projects exist to audit, for example. As an auditor, I'm looking at, yeah.
Okay, thank you for that question. I'm going to pass on the microphone to...
Thank you. So first of all, thank you for the question. No, right now we are working on a bill. It's still in the House of Representatives. The bill is actually a low carbon economy investment act. So in this particular bill, we set up all the framework necessary for carbon trading and the mechanisms necessary to establish our carbon market. But right now, what we have in the Philippines are limited only to VCM or the voluntary carbon market. In terms of technology, my experience in our last year we decided to check what's the population of bamboo in Bukidnon. So in partnership with the Department of Science and Technology and the Central Mindanao University we used a satellite to map out the entire province to determine the number of bamboo available in the province. So there's already the technology, but it still requires verification and validation. So we are in the early stages of development. But should you be interested in the carbon market, we already have the VCM. Thank you.
Yes, of course. Dr. Monica, your insights, please.
Yes, thank you very much for your question. I think it's a very thoughtful one. And just to add to already what Congressman Alba had said, I think a lot of the work with bamboo in the context of the Philippines is in its early stages. So thinking about how we can operationalize the carbon credits or the carbon sequestration provided by bamboo is still something that is still being worked on. And as far as your other question as how we can maintain the carbon if it is being harvested. And I think that's a very important question because then I think landscape planning becomes very important. If we are going to develop, for example, the province of Bukidnon as a center for bamboo production in the Philippines, what percentage of that is kept as bamboo forest, as they are called, for sequestering carbon, for protecting biodiversity, and what portion of that plantation is used for producing all these different bamboo cakes and bamboo ice cream. So I think there's a balance there that needs to be found, and that's a very important question. So it's a balance of what are our objectives, and especially thinking about the nature-based solution component. How are we protecting nature as part of that package of the program? And I think there was a talk earlier by someone from the UNFCCC or an intervention by someone from the UNFCCC. And I think bamboo is going to become a very active part of the strategy. So I think your question with carbon and how we keep it is going to be is an important one, and we'll keep hearing it in the years to come. So thank you for your question.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ortiz. Yes, sir, please state your name and to whom you address your question.
Thank you very much. I think the presentations were very, very insightful, very educative. I've learned a lot from the biologist, Dr. Monica, and the two House of Representatives. And I'm sure the last question is very interesting. If you want to fight climate change, you also want to fight alternative livelihoods by making the furniture, the bamboo cake, bamboo ice cream. Very interesting. How to maintain this balance. If you want to maintain the cover, the bamboo cover in the country, and you also maybe want to add value, I mean, it's good, more especially when you mentioned you can use one stone to kill two birds. And in all these interventions or the activities that you are maintaining there in Philippines, how are you accessing funds? Is it the central government that is funding these activities? Or is it a donor or somewhere else? Or you are partnering with other local organizations that are providing funds for you? Because it's really key. It's really key. I could remember last year, COP28, I'm very passionate about bamboo. I know the problem we have back home in Africa. I'm from West Africa, Sierra Leone. I'm Sakeli. Yeah. The popularization of bamboo is a challenge there. You know that we have this traditional traditional view of bamboo. People don't have much interest in bamboo. Maybe the only interest they have is to cut them down for construction purposes. But for us as foresters or environmentalists, we know it's very key in terms of fighting climate change. We know if we can popularize this, we know the pressure the natural forests face in our countries. Maybe they want to provide, they want to produce charcoal. So the natural forest, the wild suffers a lot. If there are resources, there are funds, you could establish more plantations, and maybe you check the balance we are talking about now. You want to maintain, to fight climate change. You also want to provide alternative livelihoods. But the funds there is the concern for us. For me, my view, I'm scanning around. Maybe I can learn from you. If the support you are getting to do all these innovations that you are doing, if it's from the central government, or there are some dedicated partners, donor partners, organizations that are key, that have key interests in bamboo development across the globe, maybe that we can contact, maybe that we can tap into, to also be able to emulate some of these things, so that all of us together, because climate change is not one man's problem. It's a global problem that affects all of us. So if we have organizations that are keen in investing in bamboo, they will see how best we could all fight climate change together and fund our activities, popularize this in our countries, plant more. Maybe we'll also practice to produce the bamboo ice cream and other things. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, sir, for that question. Maybe our representatives can give a brief answer to the question, sir.
Yes, in terms of funding, it's actually a combination of several sources. Of course, the government is number one, especially the Department of Science and Technology. In my case, no, we are very lucky to have the support of the Department of Science and Technology, the Department of Trade and Industry. But there is also the private sector. And there are also individuals who are interested to develop something out of bamboo on their personal capacity. So I think what is important, number one, is your level of interest. Because if you just wait for funding and that's the only time when you do something about it, it's very hard, no, especially in our case. That's why, in my case, my experience, a lot of our constituents are interested to develop this, to develop that. So I told them, you come over and show me your interest. So, for example, for the acoustic bamboo guitar, the one who developed that particular guitar used to work with Yamaha. And he was laid off right before the pandemic. But since he was laid off, so he has all the time in the world to explore other things. So he was able to visit me, and I told him, can we substitute bamboo for what's the it's actually a wood-based material. And then we tried, and we to a certain extent we are successful. We're still in the process of developing this particular product. No? So, and this is only because of the interest of that individual. No? So, and the funding for that is actually very minimal. I think for the production of that particular guitar, we only spent around 30,000 pesos for the prototype. So the prototype, we gave it to Ben and Ben, a major band in the Philippines. Uh, so I'll turn over the floor to my colleague, Congresswoman Anna.
On your question for about funding, there are several government funds available that the bamboo industry is able to access for value chain linkages. For example, for the National Greening Program, the government really has to spend to get the propagules. And then, for example, to get the planting and the clump management, we can also access funding from the TESDA, the Technical Skills Development Authority. That's under the Department of Labor. For the product, for product development, there's our Department of Trade and Industry, and as mentioned, the DOST, the Department of Science and Technology. So there are all these government interventions that can assist, but they can only take it so far, and this is why we need private sector collaboration to take it further, especially for quality assurance.
Thank you very much, Kong Alba and Kong Tuazo. And of course, we cannot highlight enough the importance of collaboration in financing these projects. We are all learning here. I mean, I am from the Philippines, and it's also my first time to hear about bamboo cake and bamboo ice cream. So maybe next COP, sir, no, you can bring some ice cream and cake for everyone. Okay, another question from our friend from the back, please.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me? Very good. Hafiz Kaib from Azerbaijan. So after listening to your very insightful presentations, I am convinced more than ever that bamboo is probably the next big thing for climatic action. And you spoke about so many advantages and uses and applications of bamboo. Maybe one thing that I perhaps missed is the use of bamboo for wrapping and for packaging. I think it can be very good to replace plastic and wood. But I would like to ask a question about the possible downsides, because I think Dr. Monica started talking about the risks. And because bamboo grows so fast, it can be, in certain contexts, I think, be seen as invasive species, or at least even if it's growing in its natural habitat, it can stunt tree growth and maybe lead to the loss of biodiversity. So there are such risks as well, especially if we actively and aggressively push the bamboo plantations. So Dr. Monica, I would like you to maybe talk about that and how you are planning to keep that very fragile balance in the forest ecosystems.
Thank you very much for your question, and thank you as someone from Azerbaijan for welcoming us for COP29. It's a very important question, and as you say, there's a delicate balance to be held there. And I work closely with the invasive species author of the IPBES report, and the report released this year said that we spent $426 billion on the control of invasive species. And that's a tremendous amount of money that we could be investing in climate action instead of the control of invasive species. So having that in mind, I think from the very beginning, or even retrospectively, now that we have more information about invasive species, we should be very careful to select species that show low invasive potential. If there are 1,600 native species of bamboo, we should utilize the native species particular to a region. However, as you also say, and this is what science has also shown us, even if they are indigenous or native to an ecosystem, when they are planted in many places, they can also invade native ecosystems. Invasion is just an ecological process, which means when it expands too rapidly because it has characteristics that are favorable for a particular plant. There are exotic invasive species, such as the lionfish, which is a problem in many parts here, or the golden apple snail in the Philippines, and those come from different places. But bamboo can be a native species that causes harm, even though it's local to an area. So I think that's why, if we talk to the congressman talked about aerial photos, we should do a mapping. Where are the areas of ecological importance? Where are the waterways? And what is the type of bamboo? If it's the clumping type, it might be a little bit more manageable. If it's the running type and we plant it near a watershed, a stream, a river, then there are many potential problems there. So I think then, we always advocate for an evidence-based approach to nature-based solutions. And I think that's important to re-emphasize again. To avoid, years' time, now we have to do the management of an invasive species. So thank you for your question.
Thank you very much, Dr. Monica. Do we have other questions? Yes, ma'am, please.
Hi, my first question was intended for Dr. Monica, but then the delegate from Azerbaijan was asking about the management of risk species. So my next question is intended to Congressman. First of all, I come from Myanmar, but I study in Chinese University of Hong Kong, so I've been spending my last few years in Hong Kong, and both areas have been using bamboo as scaffolding, and also in Myanmar there's also products like bamboo chairs, bamboo floats, but I feel like Philippines is really advocating the use of bamboo in a more structured and organized way, and there are also potential really interesting and useful bills coming up. So my question would be that what would be the potential and possibility of expanding the usage of bamboo in the West countries? So would replanting certain species or importing engineered bamboo work? So I would like to know your opinion on this.
Right now, we are fortunate that we were able to partner with a company, which is actually a subsidiary of another company operating in the United States. So this particular local company was able to produce engineered bamboo boards. So they started exporting several pieces of bamboo boards to test its market acceptability. So there's already an opening. But right now, because of I do not know what's the right term, but the experience right now of this local company, they have a backlog of around 3 to 4 months, because the local demand for their products is really tremendous. So airports are now being what we call this, for the cladding, not for the load bearing structures, but for the cladding of these airports and several major government infrastructure. They are now using bamboo boards produced by this particular local company. There's really a big potential, no, because as for the Philippines, some of the industry players say that our giant bamboo is the best in Southeast Asia. So in terms of productivity, if you harvest a bamboo pole which has a diameter of 9 inches, so there's really so much that you can do with just one pole, right? So my personal experience, with one pole, you can already produce 3 skateboards. And what is the price of one skateboard? Around 10,000 pesos. 3 skateboards with one pole. 3 bamboo guitars with one pole. So the idea is there's really an opportunity here, especially for the local market and for our brothers and sisters in rural areas. There's really a big opportunity to address poverty, and of course, there's really a tremendous economic opportunity if you go export.
Thank you very much, Kong. We have one question and okay, we'll have the
Thank you. Actually, I'm not a question. I just respond to the questions the two guys raised. I'm from INBA, the International Bamboo and Rod Organization. This is an intergovernmental organization based in China, where we have a lot of bamboo resources. So actually, the Philippines and Myanmar is our members, but not